and some of the research to do appraisal, they bumped it up to about 9.
Well, I don't
We're
think
probably
they're
not
going to
gonna
be
get
able to
much
do
more
time
out of them.
at 3 o'clock.
And Sean thinks it's better that we probably take the money and then be on a network after a battery.
Wait,
They have to
the
have.
contract with Joe Hewitt is for the policy procedures.
No, ask everybody to say we're routing it to HR and legal for review.
Okay.
And then we'll bring it back, we'll request a special meeting.
Okay.
No,
Not today.
we're not too interested.
Yeah, we're going to table the Wobbin um, transfer station. So next up is the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe letter to Catherine Shavers, President Shavers, and also Director Gary Frazier, on that we want to request 3 items added to the agenda to the executive committee, which is Minnesota a decision on the land transfers, that there is a referendum, also that yeah, so 3 things on that letter. It's just a letter that we're going to send off.
Interpretation 1109, revised interpretation 1109 to include enacted or proposed action of the Tribal Executive Committee to bring the interpretation into compliance with the MCT Constitution. And number 3 is a censure and petition ordinance. Revision of this ordinance to make petitions district focused instead of being at large focused. You understand what I'm saying there? Well, if somebody wants to get a petition going against a tribal council member or whatsoever, especially like myself, say for instance, they would have to require 20% of the eligible resident voters. So that would include eligible voters up in the Rice Lake area and the Natiwash area and stuff like that to get me removed from office. Where this thing here will, this will make it so that we only need to have 20% of the district eligible voters to remove myself. You understand what I'm saying? Huh? Well, because this is part of some of our stuff that we're taking to MCT. There's 3 things on things. It's the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer decision on the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer to call for a referendum and or appeal by majority of the vote. That's that MCT land transfer that's been trying to go through Congress. I'm sure you're all aware of that. You know what's going on there? Okay, then number 2 is the interpretation 1109. To revise the interpretation 1109 to include an enacted or proposed action of the Tribal Executive Committee to bring the interpretation into compliance with the MCT Constitution. This interpretation 1109 is out of the scope of the MCT Constitution. These are some of the things that we're trying to get changed up there. And then the censure and petition ordinance, which I just talked about. The revision of this ordinance to make petition district focused instead of being at large focused. Do you understand what I was saying about the district stuff there? Yeah, the way it reads now is, say they were petitioning to get me out, myself out of office in District 3, well, they would have to have 20% of the eligible resident voters within the reservation boundaries. So that would include members in District 1 and members in District 2, their signatures to remove me from my position as District 3. Well, this will change it to where you only have to have 20% of the district eligible voters instead of the other ones. The only time you would use the whole reservation, 20% of the whole reservation, was be to remove the chairman or the secretary treasurer. Yeah. It's just a letter of recommendation that we're trying to make to them. We're not saying that they're gonna pass it or, you know.
It's clarification for the petition. It's just clarification of right now. So for example, like if District 3 or District 1 or District 2, this would go for all reservations. So right now the way the ordinance reads is that it's 20% of those that are eligible to vote on a reservation may petition a committee person such as us, right? Now, the way that's interpreted is you are elected as a district rep by those that live in your district. But the way the ordinance reads is that anyone that lives outside of your district may petition you. Yeah, and not only that, but it also says that it's 20% of those that live wherever on the reservation. So let's say only 500 people voted in your district, or 300 people voted in your district. It takes 600 to 700 signatures to petition you. So it requires more signatures to petition you than it actually did take for you to get elected. And so what this is a clarification on how this was brought up at the last TEC meeting. Now, I don't think they're going to do anything with it, but they are coming to White Earth, and it'd be nice to get that cleared up. The other problem with this petition ordinance is that, and it's there under interpretation 1109. Right now, the way the interpretation reads is that the tribal members can only petition the TEC on actions that have been enacted, meaning tribal members can't, the way the Constitution reads, it says acted upon or proposed. They've taken that language or proposed out of the ordinance. So what that means is tribal members can't even bring up issues to the TEC. Let's say they're violating the Constitution. You can only petition things that they really, the way they've got it written is you can only act on things we give you permission to act upon. And it's a complete farce. Actually, this petition was overturned a couple of times, or this interpretation was overturned a couple of times, and quite frankly, this builds into the land transfer stuff. So if tribal members want to petition the land transfer and they don't get it done by April, then the TEC will just say, oh, it's too bad, it's too late, We don't have, you have no right to be petitioning anything. But if that resolution is revised, or that interpretation is revised or rescinded, then the people have the right to petition the Tribal Executive Committee for action. They don't want the people, the way this is written is the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe does not want the people to petition them. And it's a slap in the face of the people, and it needs to be changed. It needs to be changed. Yes.
How I understood it, unless I missed something, up at the last PEC meeting in Hinkley, that I thought that when they were kind of going back and forth, and what I heard was that they said that it was closed, that it was already voted on, and that the people didn't have a say. So did they open up conversations for a longer extended period so we are able to petition it?
Farron Jackson was trying to open it back up. There was discussion on the TEC where the conversation was shut down because the Mille Lacs delegation had left. The point being is, we're not always going to agree on this board, and we're not always going to agree on that board, okay? And just because you disagree with something and you can't have your way doesn't mean you get to just get up and walk out of the room and shut the meeting down. If the people want action on the land transfer, they have every right to bring those concerns to the TEC. And right now, the way this is designed, after April comes, the people have no right to bring this issue to the TEC again. It's over. Basically, it's shut down. And what this letter is saying is, okay, but your interpretation, 1109, is illegal, and you need to change it. And that's all it says. And the RBC can't run a petition. We can't. Only the people can do that. And so what White Earth is doing is we're saying we are respecting the process, but we also want to empower our people to make their own decisions. That's what's being said here.
Okay. Yes, Jimmy.
Bonjour. I brought up the issue about the petition process at the last TEC meeting. And I talked about representation at large, like the Secretary Treasurer and the Chairman. I would like to see a second option on that petition process if they don't want to change it to just a district voters running a petition. I think that they should get in line with the Constitution. It doesn't talk about district representatives. It talks about representatives, committeemen. And I think that, that sums it up. The Constitution says something, and they're running under something different. It's not to say that these gentlemen here changed it. It happened many years ago, long before these guys were around. But I think that as long as we've got a constitutional convention going on, I would like to see the councils get in line with the Constitution we have today. The petition process would, certainly, if they ran it at large like the chairman and the secretary treasurer do, it would be reasonable to say 600 people on a petition to remove would be fair. But if a district rep is only getting 200 or 300 votes and we need 600 to remove, that's not fair to the people, period. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Miigwech. Okay, so we have a letter that we're going to send to President Shavers and Gary Fraser pertaining to the Constitution on those three items. Of course, the land transfer, the petition, and also the interpretation. So I guess is there a motion to accept this letter to send forward? Motion by Umsey, second by Ray, all in favor? Motion carries. Next one up is from COLA, from the superintendent, as pertaining to a $1,500 grant from BTD, from for clothes or for.
Yeah, there it is, right there. That's a separate letter. That's the land transfer focus.
Okay, this pertains to the Minnesota land transfer, Chippewa Tribe land transfer. The White Earth Band of Ojibwe, the band, is writing a request once again that there's information relating to the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer. Information has been requested pertaining to the land transfer and has gone unanswered. Questions that remain unanswered is 1, where is it at? 2, what's it on? 3, what's in it? 4, is what's being used for? 5, what is it worth? It is a position of White Earth and the other bands that the Tribal Executive Committee has failed to answer these questions and provide adequate documentation in support of Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer. The members of the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe are unable to make any informed decisions about the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer because they have not yet be afforded the adequate information such as make such a decision. They are unable to inform their respected reservation business committees as to how each band should proceed. As it stands now, it is not an accurate reflection of their opinions of the membership. The Tribal Executive Committee has failed to provide supporting evidence to its members, and because of this, it is appropriate for the Tribal Executive Committee to request members to agree with the land transfer. We respectfully request the Tribal Executive Committee to provide adequate documentation in support of the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer so that informed decisions can be made about the important issue. Miigwech, Chairman Fairbanks. A motion to accept that letter? Allen, second by Umsey, all in favor? Motion carries. The next one is on the COLA, on the BTD scholarship or award assistance for $1,500. Motion by Umsey. Second by Allen, all in favor? Motion carries. The next one is from COLA 2. It's on $400,000. Yeah, this one is for $400,000. That's about. Please consider your approval or resolution to expend up to $400,000 of the $1.3 million funds set aside for in the spring of 19 for the safety, repair, and rebuilding of the infrastructure at our Circle Life Academy. Replace outdated effective video surveillance, adding metal detectors, replace 10-year-old key fob system, rekey school previous owners suspended unknown number of unknown master keys. So, I mean, there's some updates, I guess, on some of their security stuff, so.
Well, this will be coming out of 1.3 million.
Yeah.
Set aside this.
Yeah, it's to bail the school out.
Yeah.
We got a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Umsey, second. Second by Allen, all in favor? Motion carries. Another one from Circle Life Academy. This one pertains to $26,000, $26,656 out of the $1.3 million for, or 86 out of the 1.3 for classroom technology. Get a motion? Motion by Alan, second. Second by Ray. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Okay. Next one is from our Education Department to renew a contract with Brick out of Bemidji for special education services. It is I think an MOU or, yeah. So do we have a motion to accept services from Brick? Motion by Alan, second. By Ray, all in favor? Motion carries. Yes.
Make a request. I really like the idea of updating the technology for MOLA, the school, our Circle of License school, but I would also like to see that come back and be presented to the community of how it has impacted our students and the different things they were able to do that, so we can give a voice back to our communities to see exactly how it helped.
And I think that's something where our public, what do you call it, relations department can do when they get their equipment to come in, like their smart boards or whatever the stuff they order, that they'll be able to go out and put that stuff in our newspaper and have a reflection of that, of our new technology that we get at our school.
Or even like a presentation of the kids showing you, that would be really awesome. You know, like, hey, look what I came up with and did, you know?
Okay.
Just throwing some ideals out there.
Well, we're making major investments in that school, and you know, I'd like to see a press release go out today, Roman, that White Earth, in the spring we made this $1.3 million pledge, and we're making all these changes, and we're supporting our students to the max, above and beyond, and so we need to get that out there. And I love the idea of kids coming in and saying, hey, this is how good this stuff is doing. You know, we're taking care of the school, we're taking care of our families. I mean, good.
Okay, Miigwech. The next one is on our early childhood. It's a renewal and license for White Earth Infant Toddler Center. I think the first one is for the center itself, the White Earth, and then also the second part of it is for Casely Bren's Family Child Care Center. So there's two licenses that we have to renewal. Motion by Allen, second by Umsey. All in favor? Motion carries. The next one is for childcare, and this is also a variance request for District 2, Melissa Zima. Yeah, so this is something that we have to renew her. Motion by Umsey, second. Second by Ray, all in favor? Motion carries. Okay, the next one is for amending for funding for COLA for the amount of $479,000. Motion by Umsey, second by Ray. All in favor? Motion carries. So you got to understand the amount of money that we, and this is part of the government part. I think we don't give enough, how do you say it, education on what happens here, because I know a lot of band members figure that we have all this money in the bank, but it encompasses so much that flows through our whole system. You know, we get all these grants and we get all this money that comes in, but then there's so much of it that goes back out, and you figure the amount that we have to work with our council does, and we meet when we do our budgets, and we still end up in kind of the red for now, you know. And I think this is what we try to do each year, is we try to balance this, even though these big numbers come out from BIE or some of the bigger, federal grants or anything that we get through our whole system is like it's kind of complicated. And I know that a lot of our travel membership, I think that if they ever want to come over or please call us. And these are the things I think that we're working for everybody. And I think this is what it boils down to, is like, we're accepting these monies, and also we're putting out grants for more money. So I mean, this is something that we do on a daily basis, that we do work hard for our people. So we good. Okay. Okay, next one is a letter for the indirect cost rate. I think it is at 12% for 2019. 2020. Okay. And I just had to, so do I have a motion for that? Motion by Allen, second. Second by Umsey, all in favor? Motion carries. And you guys know about indirect, don't you? Indirect is the amount that we take off, the percentage we take off the grant. So if we get a $10,000 grant, we get $1,200 to provide. Help me out here, Scott. Yeah, that's what it is. That's even kind of easier to look at. So those are things, and that fluctuates from 12 to 15, 16%. All depends on what we're planning. And this goes year to year. So it could be 12 this year, it could be 15 next year. Depends on what we're going to plan for our indirect for those jobs. Because a lot of it depends around the job descriptions and how we're going to utilize these positions, and how they're going to benefit our tribe. So. Thank you. Okay. Next one comes from forestry. Dave Sinkett, this is about purchasing $2,300 worth of wood for our spirit fires. For the ones that unfortunately leave us, that we do supply the wood for their spirit fires, so to help make that path for them, or help the families, and help that person go to the next. So I think this is something that's important to us too. So. Okay, do I have a motion? Motion by Umsey, second by Ray. All in favor? Motion carries. So that's something that we've been doing a lot this year. Is like, unfortunately, not to put it in that perspective, but we do provide wood for these spirit fires for our family members that do head out, so that go down that path. So. Okay, this one is from Sarah Snitzinger from Home Health, and it just mentions that I'm the new chairman, and I'm authorizing the expenditures of some of this money that comes down through our early childhood program. I think it's just like from the grants that come down, that I just sign off on them, and the money goes into the pot and then gets distributed to the motion by Umsey, second. Second by Allen, all in favor? Motion carries. I must be like in a teaching mode today. Business license for Joe Thompson. And Joe, the name of his company is Thompson's Big Game Hunting Reserve. Do I have a motion on this one? Anything about that? Yeah, I think this is more of a compliance issue, I think so. I think we'll probably have to look more at this and ask legal and find out more. So we'll table this one, so. Okay. Next one comes from Public Works, Michael Bowman's company. It's to retain improvements, transportation improvements through our reservation, so the amount of $20,000. Motion by Umsey, second by Allen. All in favor? Motion carries. Michael Bowman for WEDOT. This is for a transportation improvement plan for the upcoming projects. I don't think there's no monetary on this. I think it's just what he has coming forward for next year, I think. It says no concerns. Motion by Umsey, second by Allen. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. The next one is just Tanya Vode through our Dove program. Is she wants to be, or she's going to be appointed to a task force, and it's going to be a missing and murdered Indigenous Women's Task Force. So motion by Allen, second by Umsey. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, we were awarded $73,000 through Safe Harbor Grant. This is through Tanya Vode and Dove too. So we do have resolutions that we accept the money too. So this is one of them. So motion by Allen, second by Umsey. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, this one is for a grant application for a No Child Left Behind grant for $25,000. It's a phase grant program, phase 2 grant program. So motion by Allen, second by Ray. All in favor? Motion carries. Yeah, we could just probably do the rest of these. These were tabled resolutions too that were, I mean, we could probably call a special meeting on Monday or Tuesday to finish these off. And I know we're going to go into executive session for personnel, so. Okay, yeah, Monday. Yeah, we can't do it on Tuesday, I guess. We got it off, so. But we've been known to work the past, 100 days off, so. I have. Motion to go into executive. Motion by Umsey, second by Allen. All in favor? Motion carries.